morning. Happy Friday. Welcome to the Friday show here at 4E Kennels. I think it is our coolest day we have had for months. Today is nice and cool, like 70 degrees for a high, which for some of you might feel warm. Good morning, Heather from Kentucky. What's the weather like there? Because I feel like I'm going to freeze today, for real. Like those of you that follow me on social media, I was wearing a sweatshirt yesterday. Not to mention the bra came off because I had to walk my dog home, but I was in a sweatshirt. What is today's? Today is supposed to be like, it's 66 here. I told you it's cold. It is cold. Why are my boys standing there laughing at me? It's cold. Oh my gosh. All right. New York is 72. Big Fork, Montana, 28. That's why I don't live there anymore. So I don't. Mexico is 86. That's where I should be. Or like the Riviera Maya. Can't flip my thing. Anyway, yeah, it's and rainy today, so that's fun. Good morning. Get stuck on weather. Good grief. Kim, good morning. Good afternoon. From Canada. What's your weather like there? Is it freezing? Oh my gosh. Okay, adjustment is good. Weather change is good. I love the fall. I think my dogs are happiest during this weather as well. Speaking of fall, let's talk about Halloween safety for your dogs. Just a few things maybe you don't think about, especially if you have little kids and you're getting the costumes ready and you're trick-or-treating. Plus, more and more I see people dressing up their dogs for Halloween. God love you all. I barely can get my kids dressed up for Halloween, and you all be planning and dressing up your dogs in the cutest costumes. Drop what you're going to dress your dog up as, if you are, what is going to be their Halloween costume this year. Oh my gosh, I do. Some are really clever. Some of you guys are incredibly clever and creative. Yeah, but let's talk about safety because there's a few things we need to think about during trick-or-treating time for your dog. Some of these are really quite clearly, number one, trick-or-treat candies are not for pets. Yes, you do not think, right? Chocolate is poisonous for dogs. Xylitol, fake sugar, is highly poisonous for dogs in a much smaller quantity than chocolate. So make sure that your dog does not have access to bowls of candy. You know, I know as a kid, we'd come home, we would trick-or-treat with pillowcases and they'd be filled up, and we come home and dump them all out on the floor and divide and then, you know, barter and trade. There were 4 of us kids, and Dad his favorite Snickers and my mom Reese cups, and we would divide and trade and share. Just make sure that dogs do not have access to the candy you're giving out, or of course the candy that the kids bring home. Fairly self-explanatory. Number 2, don't leave pets out in the yard on Halloween. Pranksters have been known to tease, taunt, let out, steal, hurt dogs on Halloween. So please do not leave your dogs outside unattended in the backyard during Halloween. I know. And black cats, unfortunately, tend to be a target on Halloween. So make sure your pets are locked up and safe. Number 3, keep pets confined and away from the door, especially if you're constantly opening and closing the door. This is not the time to hope that your dog doesn't break that threshold and take off. So keep them off the door, the constant ringing the bell, or, you know, I love when people just sit outside in their front yard if the weather permits, and, you know, your house's door is shut, your animals are safe inside, and you're distributing candy from the sidewalk. Great idea. If that does not work though, please just this is the time, you know, like just put your dog in their kennel with a favorite treat or toy, or have them tethered to you if you think that they would love to be involved, and it can be done safely. You can absolutely tether them to you, and there's no way they can slip around and out the door. Plus, you know, then there's the whole caveat to if you are hosting a Halloween party. It's the same thing of just the commotion and dogs getting into things and things getting left out that you want to keep track of. Jen, good morning. Number 4, keep glow sticks away from pets. While it's not actually toxic, it can cause a lot of disruption to your dog's mouth and esophagus and make things a mess. And so it tastes terrible. So generally, even if they start to bite into a glow stick, they won't. But some dogs don't even process meds down before they even know where they'll swallow it. It will agitate their mouth and stomach. And so keep glow sticks away from pets. Make sure they can't grab those. Keep Halloween plants such as pumpkins and corn out of reach. And while both are fine for dogs, the problem is there's jack-o'-lanterns all over the place, and some of them are starting to mold and get soft. And if your dog eats an entire pumpkin, okay, here's the deal with pumpkin, because we use it a lot here at 4E Kennels, and we suggest it to our clients as well. Pumpkin is a fantastic source of fiber for your dog. Given in small amounts, it can help with stomach upset and diarrhea. It will stop diarrhea, right? If you give too much pumpkin, it will actually create stomach upset and diarrhea. So it's finding just a little bit of pumpkin is great. Too much, of course, is not. So if they have access to an entire raw pumpkin, and especially if it's moldy, that can be a problem. The same thing with the deal is people are using corn as decoration. If they eat the whole entire corn on the cob, the problem is there's been intestinal blockages. So it's not even ingesting the corn on the cob, it's that it gets stuck in the belly and it causes a blockage. So make sure corn on the cob and pumpkins are not accessible for your dog to eat. All right, I'm still waiting for you guys to drop what you're gonna dress your dog up as. I'm waiting. What is going to be your dog's costumes this year? Jennifer, I live in a town famous for pumpkins, Farms Festival way off, and I'm not a fan of Halloween. Well, that's a bummer. I know, I don't know. I'm not either. I'm not a big fan. You know, there were times we've done some Halloween parties, and of course we've had kids, Matt and I's entire marriage, and dressing them up and taking them out, but it was always kind of last minute, like grab a costume or make one and go out. Okay, to me, I'd like the whole thing is weird. I don't know if I'm too rational, but I think it's really bizarre when you step back and look at like you're going to all these strange homes asking for candy. Like if you just want to look at it, let's be real. Like why the shit are we walking around from house to house knocking on their doors and asking for candy? Now, I know this goes back in history for different reasons, and it wasn't quite this way back in history. It wasn't giving candy, of course, it had to do with the ghosts and whatnot. I just think it's really bizarre, and I think it's a really weird. You can't even call it a holiday tradition. I think it's a bizarre tradition. Is anybody with me on that? Because I feel like it's weird. I will be glad when I have no more kids to trick or treat. Here at the farm, we don't have neighbors, so Halloween has significantly changed for us because you just can't go in the neighborhood and go trick or treating. Out here in Pahrump, a smaller town, what they've done is there's a RV resort here, and they have the RV people give out candy. So we just walk the RV resort and just go from RV to RV, and they decorate. It's fun. It's fine. Like, in many ways, it makes more sense than like going and knocking on random people's doors and asking for candy. Yeah. See, I'm not the only one. There's a lot of people that are not fans of Halloween. Not a fan. Tell your kids not to take candy from strangers, except for the one day a year where you tell them to take all the candy from all the strangers and dress up and ask. Like, the whole thing is so weird to me. I don't understand. I don't understand this tradition and why we're still doing it. Somebody, please help. I don't know. I don't understand. All right. Number 6, let's talk about dog safety. Hey, just everybody stay home with your dog. How about that? Turn your lights off, put a movie on, get some healthy, good food, some chili or something, and just enjoy a quiet night. I mean, I don't know. I was never one to even as an adult to like dress up and go to a party. Okay. 6, but I'm boring. Don't keep lit pumpkins around pets, right? Like, you know, like you put the candles in the pumpkin and it's not a fake candle. Fire, dog's hair, problem. I think we're good. I think we understand that. Number 7, keep electronic and battery-powered Halloween decorations out of reach. They could chew on them and get chemical burns and or electrocuted by chewing on all, on those of you that decorate and you have all these blow-up things in your yard or in your house. If you've got a chewer, especially a puppy, those things can be dangerous. And a lot of this can apply to Christmas decorations as well. Number 8, don't dress your pet in a costume unless you know they'll love it. Please honor and respect your pet. Don't wait until it's time to go parade your pet around trick-or-treating to try on this costume that has weird things doing, in weird places for a dog. Please don't forget they are a dog. They were not meant to be dressed up in a Halloween costume. Now, while they're cute and you have fun, and most of our dogs will absolutely put up with your silly nonsense. It has nothing to do with them. It's your silly nonsense. Make sure that they are comfortable. So just try it on prior. Like, I'm not against it. It's fine if it makes you happy and they're happy and it's great exercise and exposure. Just please put it on a few times before you take them out on Halloween where they had to wear it for a while. Make sure they can breathe, they can see okay, nothing is pinching or causing any problems that will make them sore. Same thing with your kids. Let's be real. If you get a Halloween costume, think about shoes, think about face, think about anything tight on them as well so they're not coming home with blisters and scratches and red marks from costumes. Number 9. Where's my other one? Don't try saying that. Well, this kind of goes with it. Make sure that I combine the two. Make sure that it's comfortable and safe for them to wear. Jennifer, it could be a good opportunity to work on training because of all the doorbell ringing, but only if they're at the stage where they can be successful most of the time. Yeah, this is a great desensitization. If your dog goes crazy with the ringing and the knocking of the door, you can try. The problem is you can't control the situation of when they're actually going to ring or knock. And then you also have to now be giving out candy and worried about little kids at your door and trying to train at the same time. So if you have another adult with you at the house where you can focus on the training and we can make sure that the kids get their candy, absolutely. And this goes for any dog that is sensitive to door knocking and bell ringing. Start doing it a lot more. Set up training lessons with them and knock on the door, knock on the door, knock on the door, ring the bell, ring the bell, ring the bell. When it's not such a novelty and then somebody new and fun at the door every time, you can help desensitize your dog with that. Good point. Vanessa, was a family ever picked for a puppy after phone interviews first began? So I'm not sure which puppy you're talking about. We're constantly going through applications. We constantly have dogs in our Healing Hearts program. So I guess it just depends. And then the many times like we interview and we do Zoom interviews and then we just gather information because even if we don't have a dog right now, when that dog comes through the program, and we'll be like, oh my gosh, yes, I know the family. This makes sense. We'll go back and then we'll be reaching back out and be like, hey, you still looking for a dog? Are you still interested? And then just cleaning up applications often as well. But if you have a specific question about applications or Healing Hearts, just drop us an email. All right, number 10, IDs. Of course, making sure your dog is properly identified. Unfortunately, 4th of July and Halloween are 2 huge times of the year where dogs get out. And so we want to make sure that they are recovered safely, make sure they've got their collars on, their identification on, their tags on, and so that if unfortunately a dog does get loose, they are identified appropriately. But look, just if any of these things upset your dog, think about them first and foremost. And if it means putting them in a kennel in your back room with music on or a TV on, very similar to our 4th of July tips, Sometimes the dog does not need to be included. They're okay with that. I'm here to tell you they'll be fine. They're okay. It's really more about you wanting your dog to be there. But at the end of the day, we have to be like, okay, well, what's best for the dog? If all of this ringing the doorbell and knocking and costumes and the blow up things in the yard and all the creepy noises is just too much, then just put them in the kennel in the back room. Or maybe, do a little bit of exposure where you take them on a walk, work them through maybe some irrational fears of the creepies, although let's be real, some of it makes me a little nervous. And then put them away. So just really think about what is the best plan, safety-wise as well, for your dog. And that it comes down to regardless of any day or any activity, what is best for your dog, honoring and respecting them most. Some dogs love it. They have no issues with Halloween. They want to be part of it. It's not a concern. And others, if they could hide away in your room safe with something they love and a movie on, they'll be happy. So, all right. I guess no one on here is going to dress up their dog for Halloween. Got our Halloween safety tips. All right, you guys. Well, there you go. There's our 2020. I think we have this show every year, and we talk about safety tips during Halloween. I'm Jeanette with 4E Kennels. We're only healing hearts and changing lives through the power of a dog, but we are also changing breeding from bad to badass. And I'm taking a whole pile of breeders with me. Super exciting this month and going into next month. You've got to make sure you're following us on social media. We have a few more Healing Hearts surprise giveaways up and coming. And for the first time ever, I am crashing a breeder's facility. I will be heading to a breeder to help her elevate and move forward in her breeding program. Together we are better. And if I can help her fine tune and she can in turn be the voice for her puppies and place service and facility dogs and donate dogs in her community, then I'm having a far greater impact, and that is what is really important to me. So stay tuned. October alone, I'm going to be spending a few days with a breeder with her dogs in her facility. I'm so excited. And then we'll be doing some Healing Hearts giveaways as well. Happy Friday, everybody. Have a great weekend. Bye.